Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and today we are going to learn about schema and its types. So in many of my videos I was talking about schema and today I have made this video regarding a schema and its types so that it will be much more better to understand other videos where I will be discussing about schema. So let's start. So, what is a schema? Schema, usually in social psychology, it's a cognitive framework or mental structure that represents organized knowledge about a particular concept or stimulus. So, let's talk about television. So, if I tell you, please describe something about television. What happens as you are in adult phase or any of the phase, you might have some organized knowledge regarding television. Or if I say you to say something about the car model, definitely you have something to say about it. Why this happens? Because schema in social psychology, it's a cognitive framework or it's a mental structure that represents organized knowledge about a particular concept or stimulus. So, schemas, these are essential mental shortcuts that allow individuals to efficiently process, organize, and interpret the massive amount of information in their social world. Actually, if we look or if we get chance to understand about the information that's in our brain, then there are so many things. But how we are able to process very efficiently, how we are able to organize and interpret the massive amount of information. When I told you that please describe about TV, how you are able to process it and talk about TV. Why you are not talking about the radio or mobile? You are talking about television right now. Why? Because schemas, these are the mental shortcuts that allow us to efficiently process, organize, and interpret the massive amount of information in this social world. So, what does the schema do? It is also guiding people on what to pay attention to, what they remember, and what judgments they make. So, actually, schema is guiding us in what things we need to pay attention and what we need to remember and what kind of judgments shall we make. So, for example, let's talk about a child who is developing a schema for a cow. Initially, a child might think any four-legged animal with a tail is cow. They must then modify this schema when they see a cow and create a new one for horse and further refine the cow schema to include different sizes. So, if beside any animals, if a child sees a cow, she or he will have different description regarding cow. So as soon as they see horse, they have to alter the information about the cow and generate new information regarding horse. Like they might look different though they have the four-legged animal. Next is first day at work. A person preparing for a new job develops a schema for their first day, which includes expectation about arriving, checking in, getting assignments, and taking breaks. Next is object schema for a lamp. So when we see a lamp, what happens? Our object schema automatically tells us it has a switch to turn it on or off. We don't have to consciously think about what to do. We instinctively look for the switch. Next example is negative schemas. So these are more complex, deeply ingrained beliefs that can affect how we see the world. Example include feeling a sense of emotional deprivation that no one will ever understand you or me, or mistrust mistrust that other will betray you. So these are the negative schemas, and often people who has got anxiety or depression, they might have certain negative schemas because of which maybe they have some paranoid nature as well. So what are the characteristics of a schema? Firstly, whatever the sensation of perception we have organization of the knowledge, and we do adopt and we do understand, and it shapes our perception and memory. And during the development and change, these schemas might develop or change, and it plays great role in our cognitive process. So when we are having certain negative schemas as we develop our mindset, maybe it plays few changes in our cognitive process to be more positive, right? So it's very important to know the characteristics of a schema, that is organization of knowledge, adaptation and understanding, shaping perception and memory, development and change, and role in cognitive process. So, after the characteristics of schemas, what are the function of schemas? So, these schemas has crucial functions in social cognition. They are attention filter, encoding and memory, interpretation, and prediction. So, what is attention filter? This means they direct attention to information that is schema consistent and ignore or minimize inconsistent information. So, I want to learn about psychology, or I have psychology exam. So, at that time I may not do some other work, like I would not prepare about the accounting, right? Why? Because of the attention filter. Here what am I doing? My schema, the information that is organized in my brain, is saying me that tomorrow I have psychology exam and I need to more focus on that topic. Next function is encoding and memory. So what does schemas do? They help us encode, file away new information, and retrieve, that is recall past information more quickly. We are more likely to remember details that align with our existing schemas. So what happens is, if we are medical student or a psychology student, if we are getting the similar information, it is more likely to remember details that align with our existing schemas. Next is interpretation. So schemas help us in interpretation because they provide a context for interpreting ambiguous behavior or events, filling in the gaps with expectation. So, in the perception, I have talked about the perceptual organization, where I also discussed about the laws of Gestalt, right? So, there I discussed that how we are able to fill the gaps with our knowledge which is already organized, to which we can also say as the schemas. Next is prediction. They allow us to make quick prediction about the people, roles, and events, guiding appropriate behavior. Example, knowing how to act at a birthday, funeral, or wedding. So, what are the types of schemas? Firstly, let us discuss about the first type, that is self schemas. So, when you see a lady in this picture, so we are talking about ourselves. So, what we think about ourselves. what is our organized knowledge and beliefs about oneself derived from past experience and social interaction, how they are shaping us, how we are processing information about ourselves and others. For example, a person who believes they are independent will ignore situations where they relied on others and remember times when they succeeded alone. So, what we think about ourselves is more important. There are too many noise outside, but if our self-esteem is strong, it will definitely help us to be successful. So, it is more important to reduce negative schemas and include positive schemas. Next type is person schemas or impression. So, mental frameworks about specific individuals or types of people. They organize knowledge about the traits, goals, and behavior. Remember one of your male friend and try to know more about that person. That means what kind of schemas have you created about the person, or how you felt, how the impression was formed, and what you predicted about that individual personality, and what you expected about the future behavior. So, here you can try this example or a schema for best friend. What their personality traits are like funny, reliable, so these are the things about the person schemas or impressions. Third type is role schema. So whenever we see a teacher, what our schemas tell us, what our organization of knowledge tells us is that definitely the person has enough organization of knowledge about the topic. So role schemas, it's a knowledge structure about the expected behaviors and attributes of a person occupying a specific social role in a society. They guide expectation for behavior based on professional or social position. For example, the schema for professor includes attributes like knowledgeable, formal, and authoritative. The schema for parent includes nurturing, responsible, and supportive. So, if we see a professor in informal uniform, then we feel uneasy or uncomfortable. But why we feel that? Because in our schema there is one mental mindset that a professor must be in formal dress, he must be knowledgeable, he must be authoritative. So these are the schema that we understood from our early state. Next type is event schemas or a script. So it's a mental blueprints detailing the typical sequence of action, behavior, and events expected in a specific role situation. So they allow for a smooth social interaction by providing an automatic guide for how to proceed, minimizing the need for the conscious effort. For example, the restaurant script involves waiting to be seated, receiving a menu, ordering, eating, paying the bill, and more about it. So here in picture also you can see that lady is like smiling and talking to the waiter, being comfortable, sitting comfortably, and even the waiter, he has event schemas that he is behaving good with the people who is there in the restaurant, and he is like serving the food with happy mood, which is very important in hotel industry. Next is group schemas, that is stereotypes. So overgeneralized, widely shared, and often negative beliefs about the characteristics of members of a particular social group and outgroup. So, what happens in group schemas is while they serve the general purpose of schemas, quick categorization, they are often rigid and lead to the prejudice, biased information processing, and discrimination. For example, a schema for politicians might include being untrustworthy or ambitious. So, this is the third or organization of knowledge regarding the group or what impression that has created. So, talking about schema dynamics, we talk about the change and maintenance. And when we talk about the comparison of cognitive effort required, in assimilation, low effort is required, but in accommodation, high effort is required. Why? Because assimilation means fitting new info into old boxes, which is very easy, because of which cognitive effort is required but very low. But in accommodation, we are building new box, because of which cognitive effort is required in comparison to assimilation, high effort is required. So, accommodation requires significant mental energy, which is why stereotypes are so hard to break. So, when we have already learned about the stereotypes, it is very hard to break because your accommodation is required. That means building new boxes where cognitive effort is needed in higher amount. So I want to end this slide with this quotation, that is, we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. Because as we are talking about the schemas from our childhood to till this moment, whatever we have seen, whatever information we have got, and whatever the knowledge we have received, it is creating our mindset. So we don't see things as they are, but we see things as we are. So let's be more positive so that we can see more positive things. For references, you can go through these references to learn more about the schemas. Thank you so much for watching this video.